But then it got to Stephen A. Smith's point because, you know, people like myself were saying maybe the Lakers should consider losing that game to go play another team in OKC. And Stephen A. Smith essentially said something that I had not considered until now. He said, but why are we saying that the Lakers don't have a shot against Denver? Why are we saying that? The Lakers have an extremely talented team. And they have a player that Stephen A. Smith believes to be the second greatest player of all time, and a player that some people have said is even better than Michael Jordan. So if LeBron is on the level of Michael Jordan, and dare I say even better, why don't the Lakers have enough? So for those of you who didn't hear that argument, want to play it for you now and then come back and react to it. Take a listen to that there.
Number 3, Doggy, let's get to you. And what you said about the Los Angeles, now I'm not disagreeing with you. What you said about the Los Angeles Lakers, let me tell you where I'm going to crystallize your point, Doggy. You waving bye-bye to them. A lot of people are waving bye-bye to them because they're getting ready to go up against the reigning defending NBA champions. That shouldn't be the case. Anthony Davis is an all-world player. LeBron James has played all-world. Austin Reeves has been thriving. D'Angelo Russell has been thriving. Rui Hachimura, this brother can play. You got Gabe Vincent back into the lineup. You've got some pieces that you could throw in there to spell for these dudes for minutes. The Lakers, from a personnel perspective, is universally recognized as Denver being its kryptonite, but somebody capable of beating anybody else. Well, if you're capable of beating anybody else, why the hell can't you compete with the reigning defending champions? They've waxed your ass 8 straight. What you gonna do about it? Anthony Davis opened training camp. Am I lying, Wendy? Opened training camp and said, yo, we want them. We heard them chirping about us. They beat us and they swept us and they talked smack to us. They came at us. That's why I asked the question going in to that game last night. You going to avoid them or do you want them? Because it was my way of reminding America. You remember what that brother said? You said you wanted them. You said they were chirping. You said they were talking smack. Now, Doggy, you've been around for a long time, Hall of Fame, and you've seen people that perceive to be the better team, but they talked a little bit too much, and they galvanized the opposition.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I had never considered it that way. I had never, ever considered it that way. If LeBron is a much better player than Jordan, shouldn't he be able to do what Jordan couldn't? Because all we hear from some of his supporters is that he's doing things that Jordan could never dream. As a matter of fact, Shannon Sharp just said that 2 days ago, your GOAT could never, right? On ESPN First Take. So if he's doing things that Jordan wasn't capable of doing, then, and you're saying he's better than Jordan, then why can't he beat the Denver Nuggets? Shouldn't he be the more superior player? Now, some people say, but he's old. But then again, you guys can't use that argument. Why? Because you can't use an argument that you use every single day to say why he's better than Jordan. What do I mean? This old argument is the same thing LeBron fans say where they say Jordan could never dream of doing the things that he does at this age. So at that particular moment, they're talking about how marvelous LeBron is at this age. But when we're like, okay, we have this age, we have the stats, now let's try to put him to task and go beat a good team. They're like, well, he's old. So then why have you been talking about he's old all along? Or is it that you want us to kind of be in awe of his age while he just gets stats? But when it comes time to win, nobody wants to talk about stats. I mean, nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, no, he's too old. I don't think he can compete. So why are we talking about him in the first place? If LeBron is truly on the level of Jordan or better, shouldn't he be good enough to get past the Denver Nuggets? I mean, I thought he's the GOAT. The GOAT, the greatest player. Are you telling me the greatest player of all time with a top 75 guy in Anthony Davis who's still in his prime? With a team with D'Angelo Russell, with a team like with Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, and some other talented pieces. I mean, Vincent is there as well, some other players. Are you telling me they're not good enough to at least be competitive or take him to 7 games? Well, if they can't, then how good is he? Or are you telling me that Nikola Jokic is just in a totally different world? Totally different world. But he shouldn't be, because he's going up against the greatest player of all time, where some of you have argued that he's a top 10 player today. Some of them are even delusional enough to go as top five. Nick Wright always has him at the top of one of maybe the second or third tier of his pyramid every single week. So why isn't he good enough to do what Jordan can't? But why isn't he good enough to do something that Jordan could never dream of? This is a very, very interesting point, because at the very end of it, if the Lakers lose, which I think the majority of us believe, they'll say, oh, LeBron and them just simply weren't good enough. But how? They got the best player ever.